Colombo, uniquely in the four cities that we're working in, is in a middle-income country. A lot of the financial capital is drawn into the political, economic capital of Colombo. The population of Colombo is made up of Sinhalese, Tamils and Muslims, whereas elsewhere in the country they tend to be more spatially segregated. There's also the presence of the four major religions in Sri Lanka, Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam and Christianity, all of which again come together in Colombo. And one of the unique things about the areas where we're working in is that there are people from each of these religions and each of these ethnic groups within these settlements, forced to live in very close proximity to each other. And that's why they're very special places, that there's an awful lot we can learn from places like that, where a whole diversity of different people are not just living in similar places, relatively isolated from each other, but because of the nature of the places they're living, they have to interact. And in some cases that interaction is positive, and in some cases it's not. And one of the things we're interested in is what determines that. Colombo is a tropical city. It's very hot, very humid. It has one monsoon a year, very, very heavy, intense rain, which often creates localized flooding. The center of Colombo looks like a relatively wealthy post-colonial city. There's a lot of quite large houses, a lot of government buildings and former government buildings, very grand. As you move out, there's a range of hotels. It's a tourist city. There's a lot of the economy generated around tourism. Sri Lanka is also coming out of a very long conflict. In 2009, civil war that had been going on for about 25 years came to an end. So there is this post-conflict setting to Colombo that again is distinct from our other locations. Spatially, Colombo is very different from, say, a West European city, because there's no large spatial differences between people who are very wealthy and people who are very poor in the city. So it's a very unequal city. There might be a neighbourhood with a lot of very large, very wealthy houses, and then in one location there might be 20 or 30 families living in essentially a garden. The informal settlements, the underserved settlements, which is the focus of this project. In Sri Lanka, a lot of them developed within gardens, and they're called vatta, which is the Sinhalese for garden. So you have this very diverse environment in which it's not like we might expect from a West European city, where there's a clear spatial differentiation between a wealthy neighbourhood and a much poorer neighbourhood. In Colombo, everything is mixed up together, and that's one of the real planning challenges in Colombo. We've identified 4 distinct neighbourhoods, settlements, in different parts of the city that reflect different histories of settlement. They all had their origins in informal, self-built, squatter-type settlements. Some of them have been upgraded, where people have been given deeds. So we've linked together different histories of settlement in these 4 places with a range of levels of planning, so that we understand these particular locations within a broader context of urban planning and urban space.